Welcome back. It is season 2, episode 7 of the Chudcast. Sink pissers everywhere rejoice. We are back after taking last weekend off.
Yes.
We are back to a full-length episode with the two of us. I think it's going to be a good one today.
Me too. I'm feeling good about it today.
We've rested for a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 2 weeks now, and time to get the creative juices flowing again.
Big time.
So
I
got
a dogfight going on.
Yeah.
We need dogfight cam.
Yeah. It won't be good for us.
Yeah.
I got kind of a time-sensitive topic, so I want to jump into it here before it completely gets out of the realm of acceptable things to talk about. Exactly. And it's kind of reaching back to a topic we talked about a couple weeks ago with Serena Williams just having that terrible outing at I don't remember the name of that tournament.
U.S. Open.
Terrible outing,
for,
bad sportsmanship.
Yes.
We saw the greatest ever fall, and not with grace. But last week we had an interesting story in golf. Tiger Woods won his first.
I know, how crazy.
His first major in over 5 years.
How crazy
2013 was the last time Tiger Woods won a major.
And I've counted him out for a long time now.
Everyone had. I have been thinking for the past 3 or 4 years we will never see Tiger Woods win another major in golf again. But he did. He won the what do they call that one? The tournament championship or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's the last one of the year for the PGA, and man, it's huge, you know.
Yeah.
Serena Williams is coming off of her game, and Tiger Woods, he's brought himself back up.
No one would have ever guessed
It's
that.
impressive. Well, you think about the struggles that Tiger Woods had. It all kind of started with with his marriage falling apart.
Big time.
He wasn't counted out, but it definitely affected his game and his performance on the PGA. But and then he was having some problems, some struggles, so he decided he was going to reinvent his swing, which is basically relearning the game of golf from scratch, which
could be killer.
Yeah, which
could ruin you.
I mean, isn't that what that's like what Charles Barkley did?
Yeah.
Was he played golf
fine,
and then when he tried to reinvent his swing, that's when he came up with those terrible habits in his golf game.
It's so cerebral, your golf swing.
Yeah, and then Tiger Woods had his some of his vertebrae fused together, and it's people thought he was done. He would never. And it's all year he hasn't been playing very well.
Yeah, exactly.
But last week, man, he won another major, and he won really decidedly too. He finished, I think, 11 under par, and second place was 5 under par. So he had a really commanding lead.
Yeah, he's been laying low. There's not a ton of media about him going on, so he's just kind of getting back into form. Who knows? Maybe we'll see another era of dominance for him or something.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Tiger Woods fan. I've never really rooted for him, but I've never rooted against him. I've just been very impartial to the career of Tiger Woods.
Yeah, exactly.
But seeing him, I watched the end of the tournament last week, and watching him, sink that final putt, and then the crowd cheering his name, brought a little bit of a tear to my eye.
How crazy is that?
Because you think about how hard he was the greatest ever at one point.
Big time.
And then everybody said his time's over, and he worked really hard to get back on top, and he did. And it's just impressive. It makes you feel good.
It is impressive,
especially after seeing a great in their sport act like a total ass.
Yeah,
it's nice to see some good come out of it. So, and it feels right to talk about the two next to each other, because golf and tennis have always kind of been synonymous with each other. It's when it comes to the non-contact sports, you either like golf or you like tennis.
Exactly.
So I feel like it was worth talking about the two together.
Yeah, it's so poetic that one it's like a phoenix, burned out and then risen back.
Yeah.
And then one went from being, a total Goliath to just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Or her reputation being destroyed.
Yeah.
I feel like so many people are trying to save Serena Williams' reputation though, with
making excuses.
Yeah, or saying that she's in the right even.
No.
Which is a total fallacy.
Totally disagree.
But Brock Jensen says, "What's up, Chuds?"
Right back at
And
you.
right back at you. You know, we're all chuds here. Some of us are sink pisters too.
Yep.
Is that man wearing the Casualties shirt? The Casualties shirt. Talk about flashbacks from high school. Yeah, big time.
Yes.
I that's funny, Dream Squeeze, because like that's the first thing I mentioned to him when I came in today, is that he was wearing a Casualties shirt, which he used to wear like Casualties shirts all the time, but he told me he's been wearing it to the gym mostly, so people get off the machine he wants to go to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Alex says that your hair looks good. No homo.
Thank you, Alex. I didn't know he was watching. Thanks for.
You don't have to say no homo. It's okay if there's a little homo in there. Yeah, he's watching as well. So, but yeah, no, I think it's amazing how. I mean, we have another sports topic coming in via the chat, which is good for us because today we don't have a ton of topics lined up. Which I think but I believe in my topics. I feel like we're gonna go distances with them.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex wanted us to talk about how it's confirmed Space Jam 2, LeBron James. How do you feel about that? Being a big Michael Jordan fan.
I think it's a disaster. Because here's the thing. Looney Tunes isn't as big now as it was when the first Space Jam was made.
I hear you on that, but I feel like the time is now to bring them back.
Now or never, but
they regardless of LeBron, don't even think about LeBron. Don't even think about him. It's time for the Looney Tunes to return because they haven't done like a Looney Tunes movie at all in ages.
Or at least that we know about.
Yeah. I mean, I was a really big fan of on Cartoon Network. They had that like the new Bugs Bunny, and like the art style was a little different, but like the comedy was good in it. So I think it's time for that to come, you know, into the realm again. So I honestly think that no matter how LeBron does in it, I think that the Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers characters will carry it to being a success, honestly, which is that's my opinion, what's going to happen. Because it's, I don't know, I feel like people that write for Warner Brothers and stuff, they have so much material they can put into it, and like, think of how many jokes there's going to be like, well, you're not as good as Michael Jordan, or like, they might even have like Michael Jordan come back and like be like a adversary in it or something.
That'd be strange.
I don't know if Haynes would allow that kind of brand shift like that.
But
Looney Tunes is strictly Fruit of the Loom.
It just feels, when I heard about it, it just felt so forced, you know? It really did. And yeah, I just, force is the only word I have for it.
Do you think they bring back the Monstars?
I don't know. That's the other thing is the first Space Jam ended pretty solid. You didn't need any closure. The movie ended perfectly fine.
Do you think Bill Murray would come back?
No.
I don't either.
I don't think he would.
He doesn't say yes to much.
No.
Do you think that the guy that played Newman will come back?
No.
No?
No.
Is he even alive still? Who knows?
I think
he's probably still alive. I feel like we would know. There'd be some memes about Newman being dead.
Yeah.
I think. But I would see it. Honestly, I would see it. I hate LeBron, but I would go to the theaters and see it straight up.
I probably would too.
You know, just because it's like, it was such a big event for us when we were kids. The soundtrack could make or break it.
That's true.
That's what really can.
Space Jam was great.
That's what really could kill it. Oh my god! Like, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and the part where he goes, have you ever seen that GIF?
Yeah.
Where he's like,
he doesn't do a thumbs up.
He just goes. It makes me think of our buddy Zach all the time. Yeah. All the time.
I think one time he posted that GIF, and I asked him, I was like, name what movie that's from. And I don't think he ever responded to it.
As always, you know, you guys are supposed to guess what movie's going on in the background. It's kind of harder to see today. I mean, I feel like it's facing the camera the most that it's ever been, but just
the glares,
the colors of this movie.
Yeah, it's a very grainy movie. It's from
lead
the
it for
70s.
Being hard to see from far away, you know. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I'll definitely go see it, and a lot of people will definitely go see it. A lot of people. Now's the time because you have another dominant basketball player. It wouldn't have worked with someone like a Kobe or anything like that because they just don't have the personality for it. Not that I think LeBron James even has the personality for it, or that Michael Jordan had the personality for it.
That's true.
He played a very like cold kind of.
Yeah,
athlete actor.
The whole time.
Yeah, he was like an athlete actor.
Yeah.
He would never do like a dialogue or
No.
anything. It'd be like one line of input, and then it was carried by the cartoon characters and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now's the time because like the technology with animation, it'd be really cool. I feel like, what if they do something where it's like they're not animated, they're like CGI? It would kill the movie, I think.
Yeah.
It would just obliterate it. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what it's going to be like? I feel like LeBron like forced it to happen too much. Like that was his like, oh, this is something that Michael Jordan has that I don't have kind of thing.
Could be.
And
I wouldn't be surprised if he said something like that.
So we'll keep an eye on that, and if it does, or when it does come out, we'll definitely talk about it on the Chudcast. We could do like a whole video about that.
Yeah, I'm on board.
But that's a good topic, Alex. Thanks for bringing it up. I'm trying to think here. I've got some topics that don't really. There's no good segue away from sports into my topics today. I've got this is kind of an international thing. We have a lot of people from all over the world watching the channel nowadays. We got a lot of English-speaking countries, Germany included in that.
Anybody from Dubai, feel free to send me a
dude.
Lambo.
I've had a few people from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Which is awesome. They're always really funny. But
send me some oil.
Send me a plastic bag full of oil. But I've got this is kind of international news. America is not the easiest country to get into, and but we have a lot of landmarks and like places that people from all around the world want to see.
Yes.
A lot of time, and it can be a huge tourist. Like I remember the first time I went to the Grand Canyon. Mm-hmm. It was like only tourists. I didn't recognize. I don't think there was like barely any American citizens there. There was a ton of people from like Germany, France, Japan, you name it. So it's a huge tourist destination, many different places in our whole nation. But New York City is really big for that. Yeah. People just they've seen it in movies their whole life. They want to check it out. This woman from the UK. She has breast cancer, mm-hmm. and a part of her like bucket list is to go to New York. Yeah. And I didn't know about this, but apparently in the UK there's this special travel visa program where you don't have to do like a live interview or anything like that. It's
like
all
a
just
fast track almost.
Exactly. Because we're so close, like country-wise, so it's like a quick, easy way to get over here. It's just an online survey. Okay. And just like with any online survey, there's like check the box, mm-hmm. and then there's like the scroll. Yeah. And apparently this woman they have a question, and this is kind of a weird question to even be on there, but it's like, have you ever participated in genocide or any acts of terror on a global scale? And I wonder how many people they actually catch by saying, yeah.
They asked it, I have to answer.
Yeah, so like
Zarqawi was trying to flee the Middle East, and he was like scrolling on the computer. He's like, they got me. I'm stuck
They
here.
got me. Oh my goodness.
I guess I have to stay here and wait for my carpet bomb.
Exactly. So they I don't know how many people they catch with that, but this woman was filling this out, and when you're on certain websites that have the scroll, and you click it, and you think you've made your selection, and then you go to scroll again. Yeah. And it'll scroll within that box, mm-hmm. and maybe the page you're on at the same time. Yeah. So it scrolled to yes for her. Yeah, big time, not a good time. Which basically made her, like, I saw an article, and it said that she was talking to someone at the U.S. Embassy in the UK, and they were like, yeah, that's basically, like, the worst thing you could do on that, because that pretty much blacklists you from ever coming here. And she's like, the point of the thing is, like, it's an unfortunate situation. It was clearly just a mistake. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you're filling out a very serious, like, questionnaire from a country that is very afraid of foreigners and foreign terrorism. And it's like, I've heard people say, like, well, what kind of terrorist would even put yes on that? Yeah, And it's like, yeah, they won't, but the people that do, or maybe someone's like well, yeah, I did a genocide when I was like 13, but who cares? You know, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Or like something like that. Or maybe someone genocided against your own clan kind of thing. And maybe they would think, oh, I'm supposed to click this. But regardless, like, everyone's like, I feel like the article I read was very directed toward, like, let's feel bad for this lady for it. And it's like, yes, she does have cancer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, pay really close attention when you're doing stuff online, especially when there's a question like that, when you're like, okay, they're definitely not going to let me in if I get this one wrong. Let's make sure or like reread it, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, like, she was mad because she had to, like, they're like, well, you have to cancel this trip because you have to, like, resubmit all this stuff.
Right.
To get approval, and it'll take a few months kind of thing. And she's like, well, I spent all this money on this trip, and I have treatments, like, so I live, like, on a 12-month or 12-week cycle where, like, I'm 12 weeks of treatment and then 12 weeks of what I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
12 weeks of treatment. And I just feel like I couldn't feel sorry for her about it because, like, that's what happens when there's automation. Like, you went the easy route of getting the computer survey, and that's what happens with technology. It closes it puts up firewalls all day.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think it should have been handled differently?
Like, yeah, you should pay closer attention, but, like, I agree probably with most people that the question is... It's a moot point.
It is.
You know, like, nobody's... What did they think they were going to do by putting that question up there? Did they think they were really going to catch anybody? Like, I mean, really, like, I'm shocked the same question isn't asked 5 times with different language, and you have to answer yes to some, no to others. It's just, that's what the government does. It's all bureaucracy, you know, and when you deal with bureaucracy, mistakes happen.
Yeah, I don't know who was like, yeah, we're putting this question in. Yeah. You know, but it's still just, in there.
So, yeah, oh my God. That's the kind of stuff makes me so mad. It's just like, why?
The government's terrible.
Yeah, they are.
But you have to play their game.
Exactly. That's the worst
Because they are, at the same time, gatekeepers into getting things done the way you want it to be done. So, I don't really feel sorry for the lady about it, personally.
I really don't either.
Yeah. New York's not that nice
anyway. I was going to say, because she was going to leave... her country to come here to see New York City. It's like you're not going to go see the Grand Canyon. You're not going to go see Yellowstone. You're not going to go see the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, no, you're going to just go see New York City. Yeah.
Which means that's another thing. Like, how many non-U.S. citizens do you think visit, what do you call it? Mount Rushmore a year? Because that's I feel like U.S. citizens would like to see that. But I can't imagine being from another country and wanting to see that.
No, I wouldn't want to see it.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to see it now, and I am an American citizen. Yeah. I've seen pictures of it. That's
good enough, right? You know? And I can only imagine it being worse in person.
And I think it is, because my dad said he went to see it when he was a kid, and he said it wasn't that great. He's like, the mountain isn't as tall as you think it is. He's like,
which makes sense.
He's like, it's really not as big.
You think it's gonna be this grandiose, like?
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure like we're as tall as like the nose. On one
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
I would think so.
I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
We could be totally wrong. We're going
to have to look at some pictures. But I feel like every time you see a picture of it, it's from like a really nice angle, pretty close. And I feel like when you're probably at the park, they make you stand like pretty far away from it.
What I want to see is like all the pictures of Mount Rushmore you see, there's always, and this is the part of Mount Rushmore I'd want to see, is just all the stone that was chipped away that's laying at the base of the mountain. That's what I want to see. It's just a big pile of rock byproduct of making Mount Rushmore.
And there's like a bunch more to the mountain where you could put more stuff on there too. So, it's overall, you know, it's just a unfortunate situation. But if anyone out there is filling out anything, like make sure you look at all the details of what you're filling out, because it can come back to bite you in the ass, kind of thing. So another international topic, we had So you don't know anything about Lindsay Lohan, what she was just up to?
No.
So I hope that maybe some of you in the audience are in the know. And I hope I get every detail, because there's a lot happens in this. But Lindsay Lohan, apparently, I don't know if she lives there or if she's just happened to be staying there for now. But, and I also didn't know this about her, but I think she's living in Moscow right now.
That's Russia, pretty bold.
Which is pretty bold. she's apparently really adapted into like Arabic culture, which is very odd. Like she speaks Arabic, at least conversationally.
That's strange.
And this is video of her. There's video of her. It was on TMZ, using her own phone to film this. Mm-hmm. Basically, she comes up to a group of, they say they're like Syrian refugees in Moscow.
Yeah.
That's what TMZ said it was. And she's just asking them like where they're from, and then she starts accusing them of trafficking their kids that are with them. It's like two parents and two kids.
Yeah.
And she doesn't appear to be drunk or anything, but she starts yelling stuff like in Arabic and like saying like you're a disgrace to Arabic culture.
Oh my God.
This is Lindsay Lohan.
Oh my Lord.
From Mean Girls fame. I swear to God. I'm not making any of this up.
This is unreal so far.
She starts like calling them out like you're trafficking these kids, like these aren't your children. And the people are like visibly like, can you imagine if you had kids and someone just came up and started yelling that to you?
Yeah.
And only spoke like some of the words you speak?
Yeah.
But you know which other words she's talking about? She starts yelling at him, and then like she's getting really close to him with the camera, you know? And the mom straight up decks her in the face.
Yes.
The mom just punches Lindsay Lohan in the face, and then the next thing you see is just Lindsay Lohan with the camera pointing at herself, crying and being like, I can't believe this just happened. Like, these people have to be stopped. And like,
oh my Lord.
Who knows like what's going on at all?
That's
who knows?
So strange.
Maybe they are child trafficking, but
could be.
Why is Lindsay Lohan in Mexico in Moscow yelling at people about child trafficking in Arabic?
That is so strange.
It was the last thing. That's why I said it was like a Mad Lib.
Yeah, it is. It's very,
we were doing like the pre-show talk. And I was like, yeah, this one's going to seem like a Mad Lib to you. Because
the location doesn't make much sense.
Not at all.
The setup doesn't make much. It's just, Lindsay Lohan, that makes no sense. It's just, what the hell's going on?
Obviously, she looks like crap.
Oh, yeah.
But it just totally shocked me. And I'm like, I just heard about it this morning. So it just happened. It's pretty fresh news.
That is wild.
I know. It's just,
I can't believe
it's totally bizarre, you know? But do you have anything else?
I'm just... Oh, as far as like...
Well, I mean, either one.
Dude, I don't even know where to start with that thing. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean, like trying to piece it all together. I mean, obviously it kind of makes sense that Russia would bring in like Syrian refugees.
Yes. Because they're so close.
Well, yeah, they're allies to each other, so it only makes sense that if...
Exactly.
But like at the same time, wouldn't Russia be concerned about letting... like rebels into their country because Russia sides with the Syrian government.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they really like are worried about the rebels like doing anything to Russia.
Yeah.
I think they can't even beat the Assad regime, let alone mess with Russia. They're like toying with it from afar kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's such a big place, they probably let people in all the time that maybe they don't agree with politically, but you know.
I wonder if they let me in.
In Russia, they just kill you once they find out. You know,
Yeah.
but they'll let you in first.
Yeah.
Like, so...
there is no tricky questionnaire to answer wrong to. They just...
Why would they let people like Lindsay Lohan in? Like, why would they let her in their country?
I wonder what she... Like, is she there for work or is she a resident?
Because she doesn't really seem to be acting anymore. I haven't seen her in anything. What does she do for money? I have no clue.
I mean, are the royalty checks for Full House still rolling in?
For Herbie Fully Loaded?
That wasn't her.
No.
That was Mary Kate Ashley.
They did Mary Kate and Ashley.
All those child actors, man, they're all the same.
They're all the same.
You know, exactly. Mary Kate Ashley, Lindsay Lohan, Corey Feldman. They're
still
all
wouldn't want to be
person.
any of them.
No. That was something I want to bring up. Is like, when's Corey Feldman going to come back into the spotlight? Because I want to see someone get roasted hard again on the internet.
Like you saw when he came out with that album.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want him to come back.
I feel like he got a lifetime worth of roasting out of that.
I want him to come back out of the shadows and get roasted again, man. Dude, that was so funny when people were just wailing on him over that shit.
Oh my god!
That goofy dance he did on what was that on? Was that on like SNL?
It was no, it was like on Good Morning America. It was
like
a daytime TV show.
I thought it was on like a late night show.
No,
it was daytime.
No, it was daytime TV.
Oh my Lord!
I wonder how him and his angels are doing right now. We need an update. Well, the last Corey Feldman because he had a controversy after that where he said he got stabbed. Do you remember that? And like, the picture of the knife wound looked like it was like this big.
He like faked a stabbing.
He like faked that he got stabbed
to like try and gain sympathy to like
so people stopped bugging him about.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. But that was still like that was several months ago that happened. So he's due. Yeah. He's due. He's gonna end up dead in the next. I'm gonna give it 2 more years. Corey Feldman deceased.
Really?
At that time, I would say so.
I wish I could set like a timer on my phone for 2 years from now. With the caption,
and he dies then.
Mike says Corey Feldman will be dead by now.
You could.
No, it just gives me days, and it doesn't go up to.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. You're just gonna have to do it on a year-by-year basis. 365 days.
I think it only lets me do double-digit days too.
Damn. You'll have to figure it out. Mark it out. Buy 3 years.
I'm just gonna write it on the wall behind
right here. Boom. Mike said.
My landlord comes to visit. She's like, do you have a Corey Feldman death clock up on your wall?
Just says, Corey Feldman must die September 29th, 2020. Right before the election, too. It's going to be a big pre-election scandal. He's going to make a big statement, and he's going to go out with a bang.
Yeah, and then, the Donald Trump and whoever his opposition are, they're going to be fighting over who gets to make the speech at Corey Feldman's funeral. Who gets to read a eulogy there?
American hero, Corey Feldman. Snoop Dogg was on that album. He'll say yes to anything, though. He'll say yes to anything. I mean,
Trump will pin Corey Feldman with the Congressional Medal of Honor to save face in the 2020 election.
Oh my God.
For years of wonderful service.
I think my prediction's a little more realistic than your prediction.
My prediction's playing off of your prediction, Mike.
Okay,
so
okay.
I'm imagining a world where your prediction comes true, which I don't think it will. I honestly think Corey Feldman will like outlive me.
You think so?
Yeah.
You're delirious. Hey, Cora. You are delirious, sir. Take it down a notch, dog.
The dogs are being very hard to handle today.
Being super annoying.
Usually my dogs are very good during the Chudcast, and they usually keep to themselves, but today they're all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
You've probably heard the pitter-patter of their little claws against the floor all
the tippity-tap.
They'll
knock the camera open at some point.
I know. Cora keeps getting behind the camera there, and I'm like, she's going to knock it over. I'm going to let them out real quick.
All right, you guys get to hear a great sound here. What? Listen to this, guys. The sound of Jensen's dogs being let out. Every time he lets them out, there's a small fight.
That's like 6 times a day. It's still going, too.
It's still going, yeah.
There's still a dog fight in the backyard.
That's great.
Calm down.
Yeah, exactly. But more celebrity stuff though. I've got I know you've heard of him, but you wouldn't know any of his music. The XXXTentacion.
Heard the name, don't know. Can't put a face to it.
You know how he died?
Did he?
He did die. He died earlier in the year.
Which one is this? What's his?
It's the wife beater one or the woman beater one. It's not the one that Ben's really into. That's Lil Peep.
So what's his name?
XXXTentacion, which is.
Oh, didn't he get killed by somebody?
He got killed. Murdered? He was like buying a Kawasaki motorcycle, and people knew that it was him, and they went to rob him.
Oh yeah, and then like a bunch of like mainstream rappers were like, "It's too bad." Like,
yeah, he's like hailed as like the Tupac of this SoundCloud generation kind of thing. This is how precious Jensen is, people. Everyone else on the internet land has heard nonstop news about XXXTentacion, and Jensen is so pure and untainted by the internet, and I really respect that about you. But
thank you.
Basically, he died, and they had a bunch of unreleased material.
Okay.
And the record companies. So this is where it becomes less about a single person and more about just a topic in general.
Mm-hmm.
They've been using it to make new songs since his passing.
Yeah.
Because he's like the Tupac of this generation. They've been using it like the unreleased songs, they're like chopped up, not finished yet.
Right.
Songs to make new songs and then release them to cash in on people missing him kind of thing.
Yeah.
and that way it's like a posthumous. It's like when Michael Jackson died, like. And it makes me think like there's so many artists like that have been around for decades, like 4 decades, and they die and they don't have any of this unreleased songs, or if they do, like there's some kind of like do not release this kind of thing.
Right.
It's crazy to think like, well, there's this big argument now that he just died this year. There's this big argument like, would he have approved of this song being made, kind of thing?
Doesn't matter.
You don't think so?
No, anything. If you said his record label, right?
Yeah.
If you belong to a record label, odds are they own the masters to anything you record on their dime, and it's theirs to do whatever they want with.
Yeah, but some of it, it's like he recorded at like a very small producer's place, and the record label would take it or like buy it from that producer who's being kind of sketchy about it.
Okay.
And they'll take Lil Peep also died, another rapper. Ben's a big fan. Brock says he's still alive. That's another conspiracy theory, is that he's not dead and he's making all this music. Thanks, Brock, for your submission there. But it's Lil Peep also died.
Right.
So XXXTentacion, Lil Peep, both died a few months away from each other. They made the record company made a song with unfinished songs from both of them, combined it together.
Wow.
And a lot of people said, like Lil Peep's mom and XXXTentacion's mom both said it was okay. More. They both said it was okay. So I think it's okay too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying, now this is where Choff comes in from his lurking. A lot of people are saying that Lil Peep wouldn't have gotten along, or he didn't like XXXTentacion, so he wouldn't have wanted his music to be used that way. And then XXXTentacion recorded his part after Lil Peep died, and he's like, oh, I'm going to do this song with Lil Peep after he's dead, But then he died. So then they were like, all right, we'll just put this song together. Kind of thing.
Weird.
And they just threw it together. But it made me think, like, what did I have here? Like, how do you feel about people's music being used after they're dead?
Let's call it what it is. It's always a cash grab.
Yeah. But do you like it? Do you like to hear music like that?
No, because I don't want to hear it. Like the artists themselves said, like, this probably, like, I don't want to release this.
Yeah.
But then again, it could have been their record label that said, like, we don't want to release it. Like, we're not going to release that for this album because we don't think it goes well. We don't think it's going to sell. So, like, it's kind of interesting, but, like, I have yet to come across a song that was released after an artist's death and be like, this is one of their best works. It's always like, oh, this is kind of neat, something I haven't heard from this artist. But it's never like, this is what the artist has been trying to... This is like everything they've been trying to do.
Your favorite song isn't going to be one of those ones.
Like, dude, Tom Petty's going to be releasing box sets for the next 15 years. Yeah. It's going to happen.
But it made me think, like, more traditional artists like that, like, how come these, like, up-and-coming artists that die, like, before their prime was even reached, they have all this, like, unreleased stuff coming out, but big-name guys will die. Like, there's been some Prince stuff, but, like, for instance, the main thing that made me think about it was David Bowie.
Right.
Like, he died, and there's no, like, unfinished Bowie songs coming out.
I think, like, if you talk about guys... I could be totally wrong, but I think with guys like Prince...
We often are.
What?
We often are totally wrong.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I feel like Prince and David Bowie were very much in control of their own destiny when it came to their music. Because people don't realize record companies have all the control in the music business. They have total control over the artists. So I feel like David Bowie and Prince probably had so much pull and leeway that, like, anything they wanted released probably got released, whether, like, even if their record company fought them on it, they probably got their stuff released when they wanted it. So, like, maybe there isn't just a whole lot sitting around, that could be it. Whereas like,
or it
all
might
these
be more
younger
protected
artists,
after their death.
Yeah,
like,
that could be it as well.
Like, no one is able to, like, the estate is so strong in the ownership of it that no one's going to pay the price to get the money, that those songs.
And, like, I'm
out
glad
of it.
we're talking about it, because, like, I recently heard this topic brought up this week, and it was about, like, basically, when it comes to artists, it's about whoever owns the master recordings of the song is like the one who can do what they want with it. And more often than not, it's the record label. So who knows? Maybe some of those artists that you don't hear their stuff released afterwards, maybe they own their masters of their songs. So like their estate can control it easier, and not so much the record company.
Like a unfinished Elvis song or something like that, like something from years ago. You never hear of it like coming out, kind of thing.
It's true.
But like, it's really been a shake up in the hip hop community right now. That hey, these two maybe not would have gotten along.
That's irrelevant. They're both dead.
Yeah,
that's I hate that sort of thing. Like,
I understand that, but it's like, it's legally, yes, it's okay. Morally, is it okay?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
So when you die, and I edit all the Chudcast to say things about how the government's awesome, taxes are awesome, that's gonna be okay?
Yeah, I mean, I consented. I'm letting you control the things I say on your channel.
Good.
So
good. And I'm gonna sound clip that part and play it at the end of any false statement. Be like, all right, we got it. All right, we can pack up now. I'm just trying to get you to say every word in the dictionary before, so I can make a robot
just make
of your identity.
Every sound.
Ooh, ah.
Be like the people who recorded that lady to make Siri.
You're the new Siri. They could kill the Siri lady. Yeah. They could kill her now because they have her voice and everything.
Have you ever seen like the recording sessions for that? It's just like, puh, and like,
it's amazing how they make it flow seems so real.
Yeah.
Like we have
because they didn't make her say any words.
No,
they just had her make a bunch of sounds.
Like we have the text to speech here on the channel, and it comes out in a robot voice.
Yeah, and
sometimes the words do not sound right.
Correct.
Especially if it's misspelt wrong or like anything like that. Brock says, find one, or like Choff made an argument in the chat about. You don't need a big studio anymore. You can do it all with like a laptop and a microphone and everything. But Brock goes, find one big song that was recorded with a USB microphone, Choff. Yeah, but it's because Choff is a big SoundCloud guy.
Yeah.
Now that I've been with Brock a lot more, him and I have very similar tastes in music. I've come to realize.
I don't even know what he likes.
Modern music.
I don't even know what he likes as far as music.
Yeah.
goes.
So. Yeah. But. I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to talk about because it's like an extension of you from the grave kind of thing. And not everyone's going to think about it like us where it's like, well, they didn't have any control over it. People are going to think like, that's a part of their like legacy and the direction they wanted to go even though they didn't make those kind of decisions kind of thing. So I just wanted to bring it up because they did that song where it's them together, and it's a very hollow song. Like, it's a catchy song. There's a really good hook in it, but there's no, like, substance to it. You could tell that it was not... It was all, like, after in the studio. Like, XXXTentacion's parts all, like, pitch shifted to, like, match the music and everything. So it's, like... You could tell they were, like, making it out of clay kind of thing.
It's just all made on computers. There's nothing organic about it.
Yeah, so... but then they released, like... the version of the song that was supposed to come out where it's like Lil Peep and this other rapper guy, and the song doesn't sound as good. Like, I don't like it as much as I like the Franken song that they threw together out of that. So I really wanted to, and I like played around with it. I haven't done it yet, and I'll post it on the channel if I do it. But I really wanted to take that song and then like mash it up with like some other dead artist. Yeah. So it's like a dead artist compilation. Like, that
would be great.
Like, I was thinking about doing David Bowie.
Yeah.
For it. So like, I don't know, I'm playing with it. I'm trying to figure out like the right song and cadence to do it. It's harder than it looks.
Yeah. That'd be fun though.
Yeah, but it'd be a lot of fun. And I've always wanted to edit some music.
Just get like 8 dead artists and make one song featuring all of them.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Like crazy. Like the thing about it is you want to use like deep cut songs that not everyone's heard from that artist so that it has that more like... You don't want to be thinking of the original song too much when you're hearing the remixed song. Yeah. So, like, that's the problem I'm in. Like, I was going to use a song from Labyrinth, but we'll see. We'll see. I, like, thought it would work really well by listening to them back to back, and when I put them all together, though, I was like, this sounds awful. It sounds so bad. So like it's a work in progress. But it might lead to more like the Africa mixed up with Buck Cherry.
Just be like, you get a little Tupac. He's like, I get around, and then you just hear like, I walk the line. Like just a little bit of everybody gets in there.
That'd be great. I'm down.
It'd be a lot
I'm
of
down,
fun, man.
But Brock says a post-mortem mashup. That's what it's gonna be called.
That's what the Chudcast gonna be called from now on.
We're changing the name.
Post-mortem mashup. That's catchy, man. I like
That is very
like
catchy.
a good
Compilation album name.
It'd be like a good horror punk band name.
Yes.
Like a band that does a lot of stuff with like ghouls and vampires.
Or like a festival name
Yeah.
for like a horror punk festival.
That'd be a lot of fun. Brock, you're onto something here.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, Choff and Brock are just going at each other.
Get a hold of the rights, Brock, now.
Call
Copyright
patent
that name.
office. I mean, I have a really like Chudcasty topic for us. Like this is what we designed the show around originally, and that is chili soup? And
do you want just a flat answer right
I
out
want
of the gate?
a yes or no out of you.
No.
And then a no?
No.
Okay. Do you think it's like in the family of soup?
Well, if it's in the
Do you think it was
family of
designed independently from soup?
soup, probably, yeah.
I think so too. I feel the same way. I don't think it's soup.
Soup is something that has broth. There is no broth to chili.
That's true.
Like if you were to take a strainer,
It's a sockwood.
if you were to like take a strainer and like dump chili through it, like there wouldn't be like a broth left over. Like everything would just stay
Big time. Big time.
in the strainer.
Yeah.
It's a mush. It's like gruel.
The reason I sorry. The reason I found out about this, you said gruel and I laughed like while I was coughing. The reason I brought this up is because I saw a you know those charts in memes where it has like chaotic good and chaotic evil.
Yeah, the four corners.
And there's like neutral.
Are you talking about like the four corner one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one had like 6 squares.
Okay.
So there's like a chaotic good, chaotic neutral, chaotic evil kind of thing. And the one that was chaotic evil was chili.
Okay.
It was like soups. It was all soups. and it said in parentheses under chili, not even a soup. And it made me think like, I wonder what Jensen would think about that.
No, it's
But they
not
had
a soup.
soups. I wish I would have saved the picture so I could like show it on screen right now. But they had soups on there that was like the like lawful good was chicken noodle. And then they had like the lawful evil was, or like the lawful, was it? Yeah, the lawful evil or something like that was like cold cucumber soup. I'm like, that's the chaotic evil right there.
Yeah.
Like just take chili off this damn list. Put that on there. Because I've never seen that.
No.
Cold cucumber soup? No, thank
It'd be like potato soup.
Yeah, and then there was like the neutral was like minestrone. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
It'd probably just be like
Tomato?
That's what I was gonna say. It was like maybe not so much tomato because tomato's like
Cream
a
of
very.
mushroom?
I would say like a tomato bisque is like almost the neutral, because like it's weird because it's I don't know where I'm going. I'm getting too into the soup thing here. Where was ramen on that? Like a pack of ramen noodles.
I don't think
Did
it was
that
on there.
Why not? It's like the most
That is
widely
soup.
eaten soup
That
in the
is
world.
soup. That is soup.
It is
Ramen soup. But I was like, I wonder.
Was pho anywhere on there?
Pho was not on there. It was more like canned like a soup you'd see from Campbell's
Okay.
kind of thing.
Okay. So it wasn't like soup.
It didn't like
it wasn't
transcend
like
a lot
classes
of
soup.
No,
It was just
no.
flavors almost.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up. Honestly, I don't know how I'll find it, but who knows? Maybe I will. Lawful.
I need like a timer for things like this. Like,
Dun, 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 dun,
like
dun,
he either
dun,
finds
dun,
it in
dun,
30
dun, dun, dun,
seconds
dun, dun.
or we dump a can of chili on his head.
I'm finding a lot of graphs here, but none of them have soup on them. I searched soup graph. All right. This is not the one that I found, so it doesn't even have chili on it. But I have like a soup alignment chart,
Oh God.
and it has a lot of different factors here. Let me see if I could save this so I could post it. We're wasting so much time with this.
I know.
But Let me post this up so that people can see it. And it's going to be really great for you because you can't even see it over there. Media file. Dun, 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 dun.
All right. We can probably move off that topic while you're finding this.
I'm almost there. Hold on. You can talk about whatever you want.
All right, new food topic. So Mike and I had a bit of lunch before we started airing. We went to a place right around the corner. Maybe you heard of it. It's called Panda Express. And it got me thinking, how come Panda Express does not have a major competitor in the market? Burger King and McDonald's have each other. Taco Bell and Del Taco have each other.
Yeah.
All these places have a major competitor. KFC is in competition with Church's, Popeyes, and El Pollo
That's
Loco.
probably besides burgers, that's probably the hardest one to get into.
The whole piece chickens.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of throw Boston Market in there, but I think they're really at the back of the
They're like
charge.
the lowest level sit down place.
But just how come Panda Express does not have a competitor? Is it just
at least there's not one on a national scale.
No.
That everyone knows
there's
about.
plenty of like small Chinese takeout windows. I mean, that's kind of what Panda Express is modeled after, is like the your local Chinese takeout place, but you can get it everywhere and it's consistent no matter which one you go to. I'm just wondering how come another business hasn't really taken that model and flown with it.
It's true. I mean,
and the other
can
thing
anyone do it as good as Panda Express does it? Is the problem.
I'm sure someone can. Dude, Panda it's
Shouts
not
out.
like
Shouts out to Panda.
it's not like
It's not a hard thing.
It's not like Panda Express is everywhere.
That's true.
They're not as available as like a McDonald's. I mean, that's what keeps McDonald's competitors in check. Is go ahead and open up one near us. We're everywhere. You'll fail. But Panda Express, there's plenty of. You go to any city, there's plenty of plenty of areas that don't have a Panda Express, and you could open up your own version right near it, and it would flourish. I don't know. It really bothers me that they don't. And you know what's another place that doesn't have competitors, but I'm glad they don't, is Long John Silver's.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm so glad they don't have a competitor because I'm waiting for Long John Silver's.
I'm shocked that they're
to
even
die.
still around.
I know.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about it on the Chudcast before.
Probably have.
But the meme where it's like, guys, there's a secret society amongst us that is keeping Long John Silver's open.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone on just Wikipedia and looked up the history of a company or anything like that? I do that all the time. And see how they started, how they got to be where they are today. Yeah, I can't think of a single, Asian food that's that, widely everywhere kind of thing.
Sarah's saying Pei Wei, but I feel like that's a different monster.
It's just above it. We're trying to think of something that's on the same level, something that would have a drive-through,
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is. Yet there's hundreds of burger places, and ones that aren't even in certain areas, kind of thing. But it's even Subway
used to compete with Quiznos, and then they kind of drove Quiznos out of the market. Yeah. But now you got Jersey Mike's and Porta Subs
Firehouse.
Are still. Yeah. They're all still competing against Subway. It's just Panda Express has zero roadblocks. There's not really a company they're fighting against for their market.
I feel like there's probably an article online somewhere about this where people have tried and we just never heard of them.
That could be.
But if you think about it, Taco Bell's kind of in a league of its own. There's Del Taco, but it just doesn't.
It's the front runner, but they still have people trying to compete and take their share of the market.
True. Yeah,
Panda Express is running away unopposed at the moment.
It's true.
And
it's true.
I'm just trying to figure out how it hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. Is it that Panda Express just grew to what it is now so quickly that no one has caught up with them yet? Mm-hmm. Or, I don't know, because you brought up a good point before the show that Panda Express used to just be exclusively in food courts at malls.
Yeah.
And then they kind of got into strip malls, and then they eventually had standalone buildings, and now they have drive-throughs. And that all happened in a few years. You know, the first Panda Express drive-thru I ever saw was probably like 7 years ago.
I could see, yeah.
And that was the only one I knew of for a long time. But now they're
and it was like crazy
common
to see.
Yeah, and now it's very common to see it.
Yeah, getting out of the mall is crucial for them. I mean, you never see like Sbarro's by itself, or like there's a ton of, that's the thing about Asian places though. There's a ton of them still in the mall that compete for that kind of thing. There's like New China and stuff like that. So, like I remember I used to go to Paradise Valley Mall when I was a kid out here in Arizona, and there was a ton of, there's like 3 different Asian places in one food court.
And they were like always right next to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And Panda Express was right in the middle of the
You just went to the one with the shortest line.
Yeah, that's true.
Or like one would be Japanese, one would be Vietnamese, and one would be Chinese, you know, so it'd be all a little different.
And then one would be Panda Express.
Yeah, but they're talking about Del Taco right now in the chat. Dream Squeeze makes up the good point of Del Taco doesn't have Baja Blast.
I mean, that's true.
Which is crucial.
I mean, they can't get it. It's very proprietary. It's a Taco Bell.
Taco Bell just got French fries. So I was going to say, well, Del Taco has French fries, but now Taco Bell has French fries too. We always talk about Taco Bell every Chudcast.
It feels like it.
I don't mind.
I'm going to go out there and say it. There, I said it. The nacho fries aren't that great.
They're just okay.
They're okay. But if I want fries, I don't want the nacho fries. I'd rather have those sweet crinkle cut fries from Del Taco. And they put them all in a cup.
Yeah.
How cool is that? You can put the cup in your cup holder and drive around and eat fries.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that.
That's pretty
sweet. It's hard to beat that. Yeah, or like if you're sitting at a desk, it's just sitting there on the counter. You can just put it right on the counter. Ben's bringing up how Elon Musk is being forced to step down as CEO of Tesla for some antitrust kind of stuff. He was making some like things to influence the market. He was saying stuff to like influence the market.
Right.
And so the Trade Commission was like, nope, you got to step down. So, but he's still going to be around it.
Yeah.
You know, he's still like the face of Tesla.
I don't know enough about the story to really talk
about
it.
He was basically like, he was like, oh, I might have it go private. And, or I might have it go public. So people are like,
he's just saying things to influence the market.
Yeah, exactly.
To move in a certain direction.
Yeah. And more like, and not necessarily selling cars, but selling like stocks and insider trading kind of stuff.
Well, you see people in a free anarcho-capitalist society that would be perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Because it's his company. He owns it. He can say what he wants about
it.
There would be no evil trade commission of government cronies to tell you what to do with your own company.
It's like, they keep it fair for some things, but there's things that are totally not fair, you know?
I mean, if he was greasing their palms, I'm sure
exactly.
That's
the other way. Is he's not Mr. Oil. He's anti-Mr. Oil.
Yeah.
Mr. Oil's greasing the politician pocket. You know, so I think he's cool.
Like if somebody from OPEC was saying stuff like that, they probably wouldn't give a shit.
I wish it was like it's because he smoked a joint with Joe Rogan.
I was thinking like that's probably what it is.
Or a blunt rather, not a joint. It was a blunt.
It's like the board of directors is like very embarrassed. They're like, dude, you gotta go.
There's some people that like step down, like engineers from Tesla step down because of that. And it's like,
would they have stepped down if you just sat and had a beer with Joe Rogan?
Exactly. He probably's not paying him very much. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. And people that actually smoke weed, not that I know, but if you watch that clip, he does a total like Bill Clinton. He does not inhale.
Okay.
It's a total like he sucks it into his mouth and then quickly like he did not like absorb it.
Right.
And it was like a half pot, half tobacco blunt. It wasn't even like a full.
Okay.
You know. It was a good podcast, though. I liked that one.
I didn't watch it.
Do you like Joe Rogan's podcast?
I can't watch a whole Joe Rogan podcast. It's just they're very
clippable.
Yeah,
like,
the clips that come from it.
Clips.
My favorite ones of his was I really liked the one he did with Chris Stapleton, but that's just because I'm a Chris Stapleton fan.
Yeah.
And I liked hearing what he had to say. So I thought that was pretty good. And then he did one with recently with Larry Sharp, who's running for governor of New York, libertarian candidate. And that was a really good one. I thought that one was great.
That's what's great about a podcast where they have a guest interview is like, I wouldn't want to watch like Entertainment Tonight interview someone.
No.
Like on the couch with like the movie poster in the background and everyone's like dressed nice. I don't like watching that. Or even like late night talk shows, like the quick like 5-minute interview they do. I'm not a big fan of it, but when it's a podcast, it's like such an intimate setting.
Yeah.
Where it's like just two people just hammering it out.
The nice thing about most podcasts when they have guests is they ask questions that you like want heard asked.
Exactly.
You know, like when you go on a TV program, first you have the what's it called? Those people who censor everything that you have to meet with the FEC or something?
FCC.
FCC. Yeah, you have to meet with the FCC. They cut a bunch of stuff out. You know, you can't talk about this. And then, you know, the guest's lawyer will say, well, we can't talk about this either. You know, they refuse to talk about that. And it's just so watered down. And it basically becomes like, if you could be any animal, what animal would you be? And then the crowd's like, oh.
Or like they'll know the question before it's asked.
But like the thing I liked about the just giving an example, the Joe Rogan podcast where he interviewed Larry Sharp is Joe Rogan. Like, I'm not gonna call him a libertarian, but he's very like a very anarchist.
He lets anyone talk.
Well, he's like a very anarchist guy. Like he believes in like less regulation and stuff, and like people should just govern themselves. And it's not like he went easy. He didn't throw softballs to Larry Sharp the whole show. Like he opposed him on some stuff he didn't like felt that he agreed with, or he maybe thought Larry Sharp didn't know what he was talking about. And, you know, it's refreshing to see a host clash with his guest. They didn't clash in a way where they fought, but he challenged his guest. Yeah, it's nothing you ever see on
that'd be wild.
Interviews with like major networks and stuff.
A libertarian governor of New York would be insane.
I don't know his numbers, but he's supposed to be doing pretty well.
I know,
right
but
now.
like,
it'd be unreal.
It'd be so
it'd
different.
Be like the last place I thought it would happen,
right? Because that's it's like a democratic haven right there, and it's such a weird state having so much going on in the city and so little going on in the upstate. Yeah, it's just hard to balance all that. I can only imagine.
It'd be nuts,
but it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see. I wonder how my cousins think about that.
They're like, who?
Yeah, they don't
know.
The Bills won a game last week. You know, that's all they care about.
Well, it's like, I don't know if I told you about this. You know the wrestler who used to play Kane?
Yes.
He's
Didn't he win?
Yeah, he's like mayor. He won. He's like mayor of his like county. I
heard about it.
Yeah, and he ran as a libertarian.
That's awesome.
I don't know if he might have ran as a Republican. No,
leaning.
But he's a libertarian. Like he uses the word quite often.
I hear you. I feel like there's a lot of Republicans like that.
Yeah.
That you know, it's cool to see. I saw this video.
Have a libertarian running for mayor of Phoenix right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually the.
Do you know anything about
chair of the Libertarian Party? Huh? Or the Libertarian National Committee? Something like that. You think
something like that would thrive here?
He's a higher up.
Yeah.
He's probably like in the top 5 biggest names of the party.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know.
But he's kind of a goofball.
In Chudcast land, Jensen is a hardcore libertarian. We don't need no roads kind of type guy.
Where we're going, we don't
we don't need roads. I love that video. And everyone's like, yes! Like, everyone gets like super amped about it. Fuck roads. Like like every other argument I always heard just like someone will build the roads. And like but that one was like, we're not gonna need roads. It's
let Amazon and Tesla build all the roads.
Exactly. They'll have free Wi-Fi in them.
Yeah.
And there'll be solar powered roads.
You know, just the act of driving on the road will mine Bitcoin for you simultaneously.
Exactly. Yeah.
They'll pay you to use the roads. Where did we start?
My car only works on my roads. So, no, I saw this isn't. I don't know what party. I'm not super in the know about this, but speaking of politics, and I didn't like plan on talking about this. I think it was for like somewhere up near Flagstaff. There's some politicians running, and the guy had like, you know, those commercials where it's like a total slam commercial where they're just like ripping on the other guy. The guy had like all these people talking about how they don't believe in him and they don't think he'll work out and like stuff like that. And at the end of the commercial, it reveals that he's they're all like the siblings and relatives of the guy that's the other guy that's running. Like they all have the same last name. What? And it's like a total slam piece. I gotta find out. I should have written down because it like really moved me.
That's wild.
But they like Can you imagine like getting someone's family to turn on them in a politic arena like that? That guy's got to lose. I don't know if he's a Republican or a Democrat, but I think he has to lose after that. Unless you can find some way for the other guy's mother to talk down on him. Like,
it'll turn out like that movie, The Campaign, with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis.
That's one of those movies, like, during election times, there's always, like, movies coming out that are about politics and everything. Because it's, like, fresh in people's minds. And
but the rest of the year, you don't want to watch...
No, God, no.
What the hell was that movie called? The Campaign.
The Campaign, yeah.
You don't want to watch The Campaign in a non-election year.
God, no. You'll never, like, bust that DVD out and be like, you know what Will Ferrell classic I want to watch? The Campaign.
You know what's funny is that movie came out before the previous election cycle where Donald Trump was running, because, like, Will Ferrell's character is so much like Donald Trump.
Right? That was like a caracature. Now it's the reality of it.
Donald Trump was watching the movie. He's like, it's a good strategy. I could run on this.
But yeah, I've exhausted all my topics, Jensen.
What
else you got?
I think I can bust out one more. Speaking of traveling on non-government funded roads and all that stuff. No, nothing like that. But I was thinking of something. It's like a classic American means of travel, and talking about hitchhiking and why there's so much stigma around it. Like, I saw a guy hitchhiking the other day, like while I was working. And I thought it was so.
It's a rare sight.
I thought it was so cool.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like you see like a lot of like bums hitchhiking, you know, like with their cardboard sign, like asking for money and at the same time have their thumb out, like wanting a ride. I could tell this was an older gentleman, and he was doing the classic: you walk backwards down the road with your thumb out. His car must have broke down or something. Yeah. So he was hitchhiking to try and get somewhere so he could get himself out of this dilemma. And I was like, that's so awesome, you know. It's kind of weird because hitchhiking, you either have like a really bad picture of it in your head, like the hitchhiker's going to kill you, or you're going to get into a car with a killer if you are hitchhiking. And then like there's people like me who like I'm like mesmerized by hitchhiking. Yeah. I think I've always wanted to go on a trip where I do nothing but hitchhiking.
I feel like
we need to get away from that. Like hitchhiking always ends badly, because it really isn't. The majority of people are good, you know.
Brock Jensen says, sorry I used your full government name. The last time I gave a random dude a ride, he got the cops called on me and then tried to rob me.
What?
Don't tell Mama Jensen.
I've never heard that story before.
I don't think I've told Brother Jensen either. Maybe I should have read it out loud. He's like, Tyler can't see the chat.
I've never heard about this.
Yeah, watch out.
Crazy.
When you're a nubile hot boy like you, Brock, you shouldn't be picking up hitchhikers. Yeah, man. You know, you gotta get some grit on you. Wear an eye patch or something if you're gonna pick up a hitchhiker. You gotta out crazy them. But I feel like, you know, people are always talking about, I want to backpack across Europe and or I want to even see the whole United States, and like they'll drive and do it, or like take a tour and do it. I feel like probably right after World War II, like the common thing was like, don't just thumb rides the whole way,
right?
You know, and that was like there's probably tons of people doing that, and it's just like switchblades. Like people get the fear of it overcomes the reality of the actual danger of it. You know, so it gets things banned like that, or like, hey, don't do that. You have some movies, it's like Jaws, all that stuff where it's like it preys on the fear of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like in the 50s, people were like, oh, just hitchhike.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just a total, not even an option for people nowadays to like see the country, go town to town. You think how much cheaper it would be if that was still okay to do.
Yeah. I've said it forever. I would love to like hitchhike across a couple states, because, you know, what's the point of just seeing the states? Adventure. Why not meet some people along the way? You know, that'd be more
adventure.
Fun. And you know what's another thing that's like that's dying out and it shouldn't be is hopping rail cars to get places.
Oh yeah,
because they don't have like open rail cars anymore. They just drop the shipping container on like a little platform.
It's a steel, no doors on it. Yeah,
the hobo's a dying breed. It's not acceptable.
They're actively removing things from hobo culture.
Yeah.
You know, what's next? Handkerchiefs and sticks are going to be outlawed?
Stick and bindle.
Shoes with the toes showing are going to be outlawed? Doing your own patchwork on clothing.
You get the patchwork. It's like
No
a bunch
more
of polka
patchwork.
dots. It's like a polka dotted shirt patching up your jeans.
I love that. Like, Great Depression, they're like, people would just patch their clothes with whatever fabric they could find. And now it's like every cartoon character that's a hobo has like a plaid patch over jeans. Like,
it's great, man.
It is great.
And I was so sad watching this old man hitchhike, because it's like when he was a kid, he probably didn't have to do that very long till someone gave him a ride to get to where he needed to go. And I was like, this poor guy's probably never going to get picked up.
Do you pick up hitchhikers?
I never have. I've only seen very few people actively walking with the thumb out.
I feel like when we started driving, there was like barely any
I haven't
hitchhikers
really. I mean, I probably wouldn't say like instantly go.
Yeah.
No, I'm not picking that guy.
I hear you. I've never picked one up, and I've never been in a car where someone's got picked up.
Never mind. I have picked up a hitchhiker. Yeah. And it was like really close to when I first started driving. My first act as a new driver on the road. No, it was back when I was still driving the red truck around. Pulled up to a guy who had his thumb out, and he was only going he was trying to get to like Flagstaff. Yeah. But I said, I can get you up to, you know where it is, Carefree Highway and the I-17. For anybody who doesn't know, who doesn't live here.
It's a good spot.
The I-17 runs up to Flagstaff. So I was going to get the guy to the interstate that brings him to the I-17. So I did pick up a hitchhiker, but I said he had to get in the bed of my truck. Okay. So that was like my safety blanket.
He can't do much back there.
Yeah, get in the bed of the truck and I'll give you a ride. So that's what I did. I gave him a ride up to the gas station up there, and he got out, and that was the end of it.
The trick is to hitchhike with a girl, because you have the girl thumb out, and then they pull over and they're like, "Yeah, me and my boyfriend."
And then
need
you
a
hop
ride.
out of the bushes.
Me and my boyfriend need a ride. Then they'll be like, "Well, I already pulled over. Why not?"
Yeah.
You know. Would you do that, Sarah? No. Okay.
Sarah says no.
Sarah says no.
It looks like she's not going on my hitchhiking adventure with me.
Guess you're not going to see the country, Sarah.
A lot more I see. Not so much hitchhikers, but actually at that gas station up at the corner near the I-17, you see a lot of people with cardboard signs that say, like, need a ride to Flagstaff.
People are always trying to get up to Flagstaff.
Yeah, it's actually very common. Now that I think about that little corner there, there's always people trying to get to Flagstaff, and that's kind of their landing spot.
It is. It totally is. Because almost all the people that are taking that road are going to Flag.
It's like one of the last gas stations on your way out of town.
Yeah, exactly.
Flagstaff, so it makes sense.
But it's the nicest stop to stop at on your way up. So there's going to be people like that. I'm not I've never really thought about hitchhiking, but I'm not like inherently against picking up a hitchhiker. And then it's like someone clips that and like I die of getting killed by a hitchhiker one day. But yeah, I don't know. I could see it. I could see myself, doing it.
I feel like there's too much fear too much unnecessary fear around the act of hitchhiking. Like, everybody assumes every hitchhiker is going to murder them. And it's like, you could be murdered just as easily in any other situation.
Yeah.
Every day. What makes
someone wants to kill you, they will.
Yeah.
On that
note. It's like, if you know your own vehicle, it's like, I'm safer in the driver's seat than they are in the passenger seat.
Big time.
If they do try to kill you,
that's the easiest place to die.
Just run it into a ditch. Like,
the car is developed so that the driver will survive.
Yes.
No matter what.
Exactly.
That's where the safety is designed.
Or if they get a little too chummy, they start getting kind of weird, you push that button on the dash that says passenger airbag off, push it real quick and look at them while you're driving.
You got to out-creep them.
Yeah.
Like,
So the last person I gave a ride to that I didn't know wasn't an active hitchhiker. I like turned them into a hitchhiker almost. I was like, hey, you need a ride? It was I was like leaving your house one night, your parents' house.
Yeah.
This was when we were a little
back in the day.
Well, no, we weren't really young because we were out of high school when I did this.
There's a period.
I was leaving your parents' house where you were living at the time, and it was pretty late at night. It was like maybe 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And I left, and there was like cop cars everywhere and like a helicopter circling, and like every now and then I'd see some kids running down the street. And I could tell it was like a high school party that got busted by the cops. Why did they bring the helicopter?
Yeah.
Seems like a total waste of taxpayer money.
Right?
So when I was leaving your neighborhood, I saw in the neighborhood across the street, there was like a kid hiding in the bushes with his shirt off. I was like, I roll up to him. I was like, hey, you tried to get away from this mess? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I can take you wherever you need to go, man. Just hop in. Like, they'll never know. He's like, all right. And he just got in a car with a bearded stranger, which was a bad idea on his part.
That's something I wanted to bring up about it too. Is like, how much do you think that the person that is hitchhiking thinks this guy's gonna kill me?
I think it's very equal.
I feel like more times people that pick up hitchhikers murder hitchhikers than the opposite.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm sure we could. I would be willing to put money on it if we did the research. It's the person with the vehicle probably kills the hitchhiker more than the hitchhiker kills the person with the vehical.
You know, I just want to kill someone, and then they're like, boom, there's a
guy that doesn't have enough friends.
No one knows where they are. You know.
Well, then you hear like all those fucked up stories from like the 70s with like girls hitchhiking across California, and some guy in a van picks them up and then murders them on the side of the Pacific Coast Highway.
Exactly.
And, you know.
Yeah. So I feel like people that pick up hitchhikers. What's the word for that? Hitch picker.
So there's the hitchhiker and the I don't know.
the picker upper of the hitchers. This is not making any sense now. Is more likely to kill than the other way around, in my opinion. What's the movie with Brock says? What's the movie with the stunt car driver who only has
Death Proof?
Death Proof. I didn't even have to read. I just said stunt car driver.
Death Proof.
And you know what it was.
Stuntman Mike is his name, played by Kurt Russell. It's a classic. I love that movie.
He killed it right there. That's exactly it.
Remember when I told you this car was death proof? Well, to get the benefit of that, you really need to be sitting in my seat. I love that movie.
I'm having Orangey talk about, like, if I ever picked up a hitchhiker, I'd tell him there was a flamethrower in the trunk. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to kill someone with a flamethrower? Like, aiming something is difficult.
They start stabbing at you with a knife while you're driving. You put the car in park. That's it. I'm getting the flamethrower.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they kill you while you're in the car. You don't get out. They don't give you a fair chance to get out and then fight. Orangey.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye.
He says in all caps, "Why everybody is scared of a flamethrower?"
Everybody's scared of it, but
it's scary and all. But I would take a blast of it and still be able to charge someone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. It's in the trunk.
That's kind of weird.
I'm not scared of a flamethrower, really. I don't think anyone's professionally able to tactically kill someone with a flamethrower. Because where are you going to get one of those Boring Company flamethrowers, like the Elon Musk ones? That's the only one you'd really have access to as a citizen. Yeah, but still, is it reliable?
Nothing's as good as those Vietnam-era ones where it's a backpack and
tank
shoots out jelly napalm, so it sticks to their skin as they burn. You know, Orangey, that'd do some real damage to your car. Why would you do that?
Or yeah, just leaving it in your car is dangerous.
Yeah.
You know? You like have it in your car just so you're like, one day I'm going to pick up a hitchhiker. You could just never pick up a hitchhiker and then you don't have to have a flamethrower in your car. You know what I'm saying?
But
Kessa
then
says, what's all this garbage talk? Welcome to the chat, Kessa.
Yeah, welcome. What? Or if you're bluffing and you don't have the flamethrower, what if the hitchhiker calls your bluff?
Yeah. That's true.
Be like, get out of my car, else I'm getting the flamethrower. All right, go get the flamethrower.
I'd love to kill you and take your flamethrower. Let's do it.
Then you're up shit creek without a flamethrower. What are you going to do then? Sorry, I don't mean to be picking on Orangey.
No, it's okay. He deserves it sometimes. He's a punk.
Orangey's
a little
comment
punk.
Was great, though.
Honestly.
It's like saying,
out of all weapons.
Don't fuck with me. I have a hand grenade in the glove compartment.
I've got a mortar firing station in the trunk. If you get 30 yards away, I'll launch one at you. Yeah, it's Booby, courtesy of Germany, says, wait, what is that thing called where you burn the creme brulee? A torch? You just bust out? Let me hold this on you for 6 seconds so it can penetrate your skin.
It's like a butane torch.
Yeah.
It's like my sister has one of those for lighting her cigarettes.
Exactly. People light birthday candles with those, so it's not going to do anything. Oh my goodness.
This is awesome.
Other people guess death proof too. I'm impressed, actually. But yeah, no, I mean, what do you think would be the best weapon that if you had to go from your driver's seat to your trunk to get in that kind of a panic where there's like low accuracy kind of, you're making a lot of shoddy moves? What do you think the best weapon would be? So like if you're in the
car with an assailant and you know you have your weapon,
you have to get out, open your trunk, and get the weapon out to kill him with it.
Damn. That's a hard question.
That's a really hard question because there's a lot of factors there. Is it like
my first thought would be it has to be something that where if they get a hold of it, they can't kill you right away with it.
Because you figure by the time you get to the Brux as a sword, I feel like a lot of people would say that.
Nunchucks.
Nunchucks would be good if you're good enough with them.
Nunchucks.
Orangey says I would kill them and then do a Fortnite dance near them. That reminded me, I saw a meme the other day, and it was like a news article, and it says like 11-year-old uses family rifle to stop burglary in process. And like it was on Twitter, and the top comment was, imagine you're trying to rob a place and an 11-year-old comes out, kills you, and then does a Fortnite dance until you bleed out and die.
That's the way it's going.
They're doing like the L dance.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But no, I would say nunchucks because like if your assailant got a hold of the nunchucks, odds are they don't know how to use them without hurting themselves.
With a nunchuck, the only move you need is that move where you put it over your shoulder and catch it.
Yeah. Like the Bruce Lee one.
Yeah, no one will, and you just pause like that.
Yeah.
No one will ever mess with you after that.
I remember
They're
one
like,
time,
this guy knows how to use this thing.
So about every summer, for almost my whole life, my family has taken a trip from Arizona to Wisconsin, where we have our little family reunion every year. And I remember one time we were driving. I think it was just like me and my dad and like maybe my brother and sister. I don't think my mom was with us that trip, but it doesn't matter. We were driving down the road, and there was like we were in like New Mexico, and there was like I don't know why this matters, but it was like on the side of the road was like a Native American family, like outside. They had like a van that they were all in.
Yeah.
I think they were like resting because they've probably been driving for a while. And there was like one kid who was probably like 17 or so, and he was like practicing with nunchucks on the side of the road. And my dad's like, "That's a good way to get yourself shot out here." I was like, "Oh my God." My dad has zero tolerance for non-conventional weapon use.
If it's not a gun,
Yeah.
like, since they invented guns, just use guns.
Yeah.
You know, if you're really thinking of self-defense, if you're using like one of those bow staffs or like nunchucks.
Speaking of which, my cousin is married to my cousin's husband. The first time I met him, it was like the first day I met him too. He was up at our family farm for our family reunion, and I saw him and he was practicing with nunchucks. And this guy's like a total like hippie, you know? And
Yeah.
I was like, "What's he doing?" I go to talk to him, like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, well, I use nunchucks for self-defense." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Dude, I'd hurt myself if I wielded a gun." He's like,
More people hurt themselves with those than they do hurt assailants.
So
with
he's
them.
like, if I had a gun, I'd hurt myself with it on accident. He's like, this, I have a little more control. And I'm like, all right, man, well, that's cool and all. Like,
yeah,
just this hippie practicing with nunchucks, ready for some throwdown. I was
it's
like,
just
this
like
is awesome.
It's the classic story of when we first moved out here, like people practicing with unconventional weapons.
Mm-hmm.
When we first moved out here, my dad, we live in North Phoenix, but my dad worked downtown in Phoenix, so he told me that because there's a lot of like older like 60s ranch style houses downtown,
Yeah.
with like their yards facing like a busy street. And he told me that he was just driving and he was stopped in traffic, and he looked over and there was a whole family of people practicing bullwhips in their front yard, and he thought it was the most like trashiest thing he's ever seen in his life. Just
I've often
like hitting cans.
Yeah. I've often said, or not, I don't say it anymore, but I used to say, like, I was going to start keeping a bullwhip in my truck. And my dad was like, "Why would you keep a bullwhip in your truck?" And I'm like, dude, if anybody comes at me and they see me starting to wield a bullwhip, they're going to really...
Give one of those tugs.
They're going to really rethink their decision. I was like, it doesn't matter how much...
There's weapons that are just intimidating.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think there's any sort of self-defense training that teaches you to fight against a bullwhip. Like...
Then you just come out and you're like, "Siri, play the Indiana Jones music." It's like, you know, like hear from like a phone microphone.
Yeah. Bullwhip out, ready to go. It's like, dude, if I was getting in a fight with some guy and he whipped out a bullwhip, I'd be like, dude, I don't want to tangle with that, man.
Yeah, so self-defense weapons, I mean, just get a gun. Brock says, carry a mace.
Not a can of mace, a mace.
Yeah, a mace.
The blunt object known as a mace.
Is it still called a mace? Is it a ball and chain? What is it when it's swingy? Is it still called a mace?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
I've always called those a flail.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's a flail. So if it's like a chainy ball or a spiky ball on a chain,
Google images.
that's a flail. But if it's like on a stick with a ball.
Okay, I googled flail, and that the
Oh,
one
yeah.
the
That's
one with
the flail.
the stick with the chain and the spiky thing at the end is what came up. So a mace would be the one where it's a blunt object at the end of a stick.
Yeah. Which I feel like was like, you have like knights and stuff that have nice swords back in the day, and there was like barbarians that were like, we don't know how to make that. We're just gonna make a ball on the end of a stick that has spikes coming out of it.
Well, stuff like,
because it like bludgeons.
Interesting, like the reason stuff like that was made was for here's a history lesson for all you people out, for all the sink pissers. Is the reason they use weapons like that, like where it was something at the end of a wooden handle, was that was for like the poorer people.
Yeah,
were those weapons, because people don't realize it, like because of Hollywood and video games and stuff. But swords were actually really hard to come by back in the day, because it took a lot of
time,
steel to make it, and a lot of time,
knowledge.
You know, they weren't pumping steel out of the mountains like we are now.
They're folding a piece until it was perfectly hard.
Yeah, and so that's the poorer class people had a little bit of steel at the end of a wooden handle. That's why like the Vikings always used axes, or not always, but like why like their main weapon was axes, was because they couldn't afford the steel for a whole sword. So they would put a little bit of steel at the end of a wood handle.
Or like if you had to go to war really quick.
Yeah. And it was and most Vikings were farmers anyway. Yeah. So it was like a multi-tool. It was their work tool and their killing tool.
Yeah. Kessa says bear mace that guy. From Dog the Bounty Hunter. I wonder what he looks like right now.
I wonder what he looks like.
What he looks like right now, this exact moment, rolling out of bed at a motel somewhere.
As my dad says, Dog Bounty Hunter looks like a fishing lure. That's how my dad refers to him. He's always got something shiny and some weird tassels.
That's amazing. But I mean, we're almost an hour and a half in. We milked this one as much as we wanted to here. Do you have anything else?
No.
I'm all done myself, people. Thanks for. We had a lot of people in today.
For everybody who thought that the Chudcast was over last week when I didn't show up, no, it's still a thing.
No one did.
I took the week off.
The Chud Light was a very rough experience for me. Never leave me again.
I watched like half of it, and I was like, he's floundering.
I was like,
there. He can't handle it.
It's so much easier to just talk to someone, not to talk to no one. And I try to make up for it with having like videos and all kinds of stuff like that, but it just wasn't kicking it. And that's the other thing, like not a lot of people were watching, so I was like,
you didn't have much interaction.
Not feeling it right now. Yeah. And like, I wanted to kind of be like a conversation with the chat, but it just didn't end up that way. And like, I prefer the Chudcast. That's why I didn't want to call it a Chudcast. Right. Because I was like, this might not work out.
It would have hurt the integrity of the product of the Chudcast.
The Chudcast is a quality thing. Yeah. I don't want to sacrifice that with whatever the hell that was last week. But yeah, we're back with the Chudcast. This is season 2, episode 7. So we have 3 more until season 2 is the same length as season 1, even though 10 didn't ever air.
But we still did it, so we count it.
We still did it, so we count it. Because we had, like, Alex sat in for it, too. Like, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Like, it was a quality Chudcast
Alex was, like,
episode.
our first guest ever.
Yeah. We're still looking for that guest on the Chudcast. We could totally do, like, a Discord guest, too. But, and there's even been talks with Brock about doing a Chudcast after hours, where we talk about naughtier topics, I guess. I mean, you don't really hold it back here.
The Chudcast is a little too wholesome for me. Can we do a more adult version of the Chudcast?
But yeah, so that's all we got for today. Appreciate you guys for watching. No one guessed the movie as well.
I don't think we asked them to.
Well, we were talking about it. We were talking about it earlier, though.
Yeah.
And so no one guessed the movie, but Sink Pissers, we appreciate you. And we will see you next week, presumably. It's going to be, we're moving next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So it might or might not happen. We'll see.
I was thinking about like setting up the camera, just like a live stream of us moving shit out of my room, and like we leave and come back and it's still on. Like I was thinking about doing something like that, but who knows? Maybe like an IRL stream or something. But it'll be a good time regardless. And thanks. We had a good turnout today. So thanks for swinging on by. We will see you guys next week. All right. Bye.